Dear viewers and our followers all over the Afar homeland and the world, welcome to our program in the Afar Voice channel and to our today's unique English part. Our today's guest is young man and human rights activist Muhammad Zainu from Afar Regional State Capital, Samara. Muhammad Zainu, let me ask you this question. TPLF terrorist group has committed many atrocities in Afar region in last 7 months that rise to crimes against humanity, and in very recent reports of Al Jazeera report highlights those atrocities. Would you please tell me more about that?
Hey, firstly, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak up the situation briefly. Then at first place, the left terrorists opened a massive attack on a yellow district, as there were, a small militia in yellow since the central zone in Afar was well known in a peace and stability before their attack. Yeah, however, they got the advantages to expand war into the inter of the zone, including the capital zone, the capital of zone 4, Kalluan. The designated terrorist group TPLF and its armed group has carried out multiple of attacks on the civilians in Afar since July 2021. On July 16, the conflict spilled over to the Afar region. The TPLF broke into Afar region through Yallo. Yallo is actually bordering with Alamata town of Tigray, southern Tigray. As a result, totally nearly 300,000 people has been affected and get displaced in throughout central zone. Totally, all towns in the central zone extensively damaged. Household food and government stored relief food is being allotted by terrorist TPLF forces. Besides to this, they have massacred thousands of innocent civilians, much of raped women, and killed elderly citizens. Literally trashed the possibility of the Afar communities in Yallo, Golina, and Aura, up to Uwa districts. The livelihoods were extremely damaged. House damage, the destruction in a mosque, health facility centers, schools, water, food, drawing its months of a caption of many areas. On the northern perimeter of the conflict, people fled as a result of July 16, taking upward of 4 days to reach a place of protection and assistance within a hard weather conditions in Afar desert. The entire zones were cut off from the food. These were indirectly genocide by other means. WFP are concerned only about Tigray, but the ignoring invention of TPLF to Afar land, the damages they made. Why, we raise a question here, why international community, WFP and the UN, as well as US and others are not concerned over human rights violations in Afar by TPLF forces? What makes Afar mothers, children, elders less deserving than Tigrayans? The other atrocities being committed by terrorist TPLF was the act of Galikoma massacre. That was actually unforgivable crime, ever committed war crime in the whole war that lasts until now. Following the genocide being committed, a total number of these was recorded as 240, including 107 children out of total. That was how much all of these innocents were massacred by TPLF launching of heavy artillery weapons. Now, what worries us most is the silence of international community. They have failed to condemn it. Why? But we are so indebted to some of individually available honest journalists from two different countries. Recently, the first one was the well-known Sweden journalist Roland detailed and explained what did happen in Galikoma, how it was, how many people buried there, how many cemeteries booted in, how many corpses of human beings being booted in one cemetery. He explained it all in the a video he arranged. He became the first journalist that works impartially to report the atrocities being committed by terrorist TPLF. And the other one was Jeff Press. Most of people know him, a historian and novelist, reported the Sifra massacre and the Safarid community, and by even visiting the Afar region by himself. He visited a virus IDP campus that a lot of people that were displaced from Sifra and the Burqa, as well as from different areas that TPLF opened a war. Additionally, he verified that Western media were ignored what all happened in the in Sifra as well as Galikoma, in different places, that in massacre of Afar people committed by TPLF. Thank you. I will add a lot of explanation by questions, following question.
Okay, Mr. Zainu, we have another question here. What was the secret behind legendary response of Afar forces, Afar People's forces in strategic front of Mille, which is considered as lifelines of Ethiopia? Were there any advanced weapons that tipped the hands of Afar forces in that front?
No, Mr. ABF, Afar People's forces were not armed with crucial weapons. At first place, TPLF attempted to hold Ethiopia in a choke position by cutting a major supply to Addis. But our forces fought bravely, to protect Ethiopia and the Afar land. They fought not only the TPLF, but also OLA, the Oromo Liberation Army, or was called by locally Shene groups, and the Isa Somali tribes. All activities for on were failed, especially TPLF on Darsagita, Sifra, and Mille. All is ended up in a catastrophic failure and a great loss for TPLF. Finally, they eradicated and wiped out with humiliation, and the defeats. All this amazing and astonishingly victory being attained by as a result of the unit of Afar to invading the forces. That is the only secret to our victory. But we didn't arm it with important weapons. We only own Kalashnikov and some other small weapons. But the heroine needs a heart, not arm, not a weapons. Even if you arm yourself from toe to head, it is nothing. It asks only the brave lion-hearted fighters that is capable to protect its sovereignty from the invading forces.
Okay, Mr. Zenu, we hear the reports that TPLF's civilian targeted attacks continues in Zone 2 of Abala city, which is 50 kilometers away from Mekele. Would you tell us how the situation is in that border city? Also, in addition to that question, we have the two forces, which is Afar and the Tigrayan forces, are not equivalent, especially in absence of Ethiopian government forces in Abala. How do you see these equations?
Well, you raised a good question here, Mr. TPLF civilian targeted attacks continued in Zone 2 Abala since December 18 of 2021. That's Abala city is approximately, as you said, 50 kilometers away from Mekelle. They have launched heavy attack by using a virus, and now modernized weapons that actually caused many innocents to be massacred. It is we don't actually know what type of weapons they have different things we don't actually recognize. So still the war is carried on. All the inhabitants of Abala displaced, nearly almost 40,000 people evacuated into opposite directions. Half of them toward the Prahle district, northeastern part of Abala, the other remaining to the Erepti district of the southern side to Abala cities. All of that, all of that IDPs being displaced needs urgent humanitarian life-saving support from everyone that's concerned to do so, like WFP and WHO, World Health Organization, and UNICEF and other concerned bodies of non-profit organizations. They actually not fulfilling their responsibilities to help humanitarian assistance to those affected people. Furthermore, when I come to the other question, federal government is, as you raise it, the federal government is attention toward Abala seems like less and not concerned too much, since there is no any federal or defense forces in the Abala front. No one is taking part of ongoing heavy conflict. We didn't know the reason of refusing to make attention as well focus on Abala cities. Furthermore, yesterday, as a conflict is becoming spreading throughout the Abala and the Magali, as well as the territory that's being near to Abala, the following that spreading of war, Afar regional state communication Afar is giving a crucial explanation about currently ongoing situation in Abala front and the related issues. Atrocities caused by TPLF attacking being illustrated in the given press statements by Afar region state communication affairs, saying TPLF carried on by saying, TPLF carried on to massacre innocent civilians with heavy artillery fire on a new front in Zone to Abala since December 18, 2021. Relating to this, they added, junta's force must immediately stop its ongoing genocide against the peace-loving Afar people. Additionally, they added that TPLF has already lost ground on its front lines. The group has carried out a heavy artillery fire on civilians in northern zone of Ala and Magare, leaving many dead and wounded and thousands displaced. Finally, they underlined that international community must condemn the junta's TPLF ongoing genocide against innocent Afars. That is all. Finally, my final message to IC international community is Tigrayan is the Tigrayan keyboard activists that is living abroad in diasporas, whatever they are, rising are related issues by saying genocide on Tigray in Abala, while they are launching artillery into the innocent Afaris in Abala. Their accusation is far from the reality, don't exist on the ground. And from the other side, activists on a real payroll of TPLF being accusing the Afar government for closing Abala corridor, while at the same time they opened a massive war on the innocent in Abala. This corridor was the only one there was the only one Tigray usually to get humanitarian aid from different organizations. However, that is, zero senseless accusations from the Tigrayan uses. That's what I want to recall or recognize everyone here. Therefore, we are, the especially international community to stand by the truth and be the voice for the Afar people being suffering still now due to TPLF launching of artillery weapons. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity again. Thanks.
Here we have a last question about the Western media. The Western media has virtually ignored the suffering of Afar people under the TPLF. What would you say about that? And some fake media that misleading information. If we take before 3 days, the Guardian newspaper posted Afar IDP's photo to claim or claiming that the photo is from Tigray. What do you say about that?
This is a bit ridiculous and crazy. Guardian Braces stole picture of Afar IDP in Afar who were displaced by TPLF terrorists. The Guardian is the Guardian press must apologize and correct the huge misleading mistakes in its one-sided propaganda articles. Actually, this is a great disinformation with the highest magnitude. How possibly the Guardian press use the picture of Afar mother and her child who were in IDP for Tigrayan propaganda, for a media cover for Tigrayanis? How possible it is? Is it fire from internationally recognized medias like Guardianis? So generally, I recommend the Western medias have to refrain from spreading biased reports. Not only Guardianis, but also BBC. BBC One is reported a biased information and misleading one is about Garikoma massacres. And also CNN, like France 24, as well others. So always a media should be independent and impartial to report whether about Afar or Tigrayanis.
Okay, thank you very much, Muhammad Zainu, Afar human rights activist from Samara.
You are always welcome, and it was exciting to have opportunity with you. After that, I would like to thank Afar Voice channels as being a voice for voiceless community and highlighting the tragedy of Afar people.